back from one project to the next. Just got done with the silverware drawer organizer earlier today. And I guess about a week and a half ago, we got a major upgrade for our shop. 60 gallon, 5 horsepower. Should serve me well to run the tools that I need to run for projects we got coming up. Going from that guy to that guy. That has served me well for 15 years. Nothing wrong with it. Just I need more volume to run some scalers and some other tools. I do need to, this doesn't come with wiring, I need to run a pigtail. I also need to run a 30 amp 240 volt outlet, which I think I'm going to put a piece of plywood across here and put my outlet over there, and the dryer system I got coming there. I did get bored the other night and went ahead and put that ball valve on, 90 and a reducer to 1/2 inch MPT. I'm going to run rubber hose, rubber lead from that to my dryer system. Got some supplies over here. That's to wire in the pigtail to the compressor. That's my pigtail wire, 10 feet. It's probably a little much, but I wanted to make sure I had enough. Got to put the plug on there. I got 50 feet of 10-2 wire with a ground outlet to mount to the wall, breaker for the panel in the house. All right, let's get to it. Half of the equation. Whoops, that camera works. Pretty easy. Just had to cut the ground longer than the 2 hots. No big deal. Now we got to get it wired to that. So we're halfway there. Pretty simple. 2 hots and a ground. Straight 240 volts. Obviously, if you're not comfortable with electric, I would not mess with it. On to the next step. Got to get power out to the garage from the house. Alright, so we're back on this getting power to the compressor project. Like usual, my projects never go as I planned. I'm sure that happens to everybody. Let me know if it happens to you. Let me know in the comments. So anyway, I'll show you what's going on here. I'm gonna get my plywood mounted. I'm gonna mount the box here, but because my house is on a floor truss system, right about here is the top of my floor trusses for the room on the other side of the wall. There's plywood on top of the trusses, and then the bottom plate to the wall is sitting on top of that. So I have to go down here in this vacant area. I was just gonna fish wires through here. I have a 2x2 hole cut in there, and my fish kept stopping. I was like, why is it stopping short? So I went down in the crawl space, and I forgot that's how my house was designed. So anyway, Home Depot I go to get a plethora of things. I'm gonna mount box on the plywood, run 1/2-inch conduit down, tee it into the vacant area. I had to go back and get the correct breaker. I can use this in the future in a sub panel that I have, so I'm just going to hold on to it. But of course, the one I need is the most expensive one. I am going to run 2 boxes. One's going to be for compressor power, and one is going to be for future welder power. It's not going to be wired. I'll just leave it there while I'm doing one. I might as well do the other. And when I need welding power, we'll run wire for that one. It'll already, the conduit and all that will already be there, and we'll be ahead of the game. So anyway, I'm going to do some work. We'll check back in a little bit. Sorry about the darkness. Let me see if I can get out of the shadow. Got it all glued up through the wall where I want it. I think it turned out pretty well. Now all we have to do is pull some wire through, wire up the outlet, and then connect it to the breaker box in the house. So back to the air compressor project. Final pieces of the puzzle have come in. Got my electric ran. This one's just a dummy that's for future welding power. I figured while I was doing this, I might as well put it in, because we'll be installing 8-gauge wire and a 40 amp breaker for that one, 30 amp for the compressor. I'm going to mount my filter system right here, which finally came in. I was a little skeptical about pulling the trigger on this. I've never had something this nice. That was a little expensive. There's several different styles. You can get single stage, 3-stage, dual stage, regulator, filter inside of there. I think that's a 5 micron. Second filter, that's a 0.1 micron and 2 coalescing, which these beads go in there to really dry and soak up anything that made it past these 2 filters. I am glad I went this far on this kit. I couldn't really figure out the price difference between this and the 3-stage, but it did come with a complete set of extra O-rings, and both filters came with some fittings and some tape that I'm not going to use. I have my own fittings to install, nice stainless steel ones. Pressure gauge and the beads. This really feels like a nice unit. Came in this nice box. Nanpoo pneumatic. That was shrink wrapped. Came in this nice styrofoam. The lid was glued to it. Everything had its own compartment. Very nicely packaged. And of course my jumper hose from my air compressor to this unit. I want to install these two 90s so I can figure out my exact placement, and let's get to it. So there it is, mounted up. Looks pretty good sitting there. I gotta get my hillbilliness line. I know we did the compressor and the nice dryer system, and I got a line running to my reel. That'll all get dressed in the future, one thing at a time. So let's get this hooked up and hopefully wrapped up a little better than that. And then I can get this guy ready to put up for sale so somebody else can use it. Actually, before we get to finishing the airline, we're going to go ahead and make sure that our filter is ready to go. I'll put these beads in here.
But my hands have.
Uh-oh.
No, not for you. It's working. What the?
My scissors would work, so.
Oh, that's my big gun. That's a big gun. But boy, that can actually cover stuff. I didn't know that. Time to see what they look like.
Oh, they're in a bag inside of a bag.
Yeah, bag inside bag.
Like I said at the beginning, very well packaged.
why you did that. It's so funny. Why do you actually put that? So, Peter,
I'm not sure how many of these
by
bags
hand.
it's gonna take.
By hand.
They sent a lot of them.
My hand has the black. No more.
One thing the directions did say was not to get any in the center tube, so I just used one of the plugs that came with it. Cover that up. I guess I could have cut a bigger hole in the bag.
Yeah.
Just go a little faster. But I didn't want to spill them either. One bag is going to fill this up. One bag in a little bit. Supposedly these blue beads turn pink when they need to be changed.
Oh, they're purple.
Yep, we'll go from purple to pink.
I'll hold it.
I need a sharper. I think my scissors need to be sharpened.
I like the sharpen thing. It was when you check the one cut, it
Says you can fill it up within a ½ inch of the top, so that's what we're going to do.
oh, that's funny.
A little bit more. We'll stop there. We'll put them there so they don't spill. Can't really see them, but they're in there. I don't know, can you see them in the window? Nope, it's too dark in here. Another thing I'll mention about this,
But I could see
the O-rings here, they did come pre-greased really well. So far so good with this purchase. Seems like a nice product.
Ew.
Whoa, bad camera work. And this just fits up in there. Twist it on to lock it. There you go, you can see them now. Let's fill the next one.
Day 12, day 14, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Papa, look. Papa, take your side with the box cutter.
Maybe I shouldn't have
Here.
topped that other one off and just done one bag per container, because now I'm gonna have an open bag and probably waste some of these, because I'm sure they'll absorb moisture. Please stop playing with that. Oops, I better take this little cap off.
Cap off. Let me see the cap.
Nice.
Perfect.
Alright.
Orbeez. Orbeez. There's an Orbeez. Orbeez.
I better try and tape this up good so I don't waste these. So here's the final install for now. Everything worked out well. Everything's as professional as I can do, from the electric, obviously, to this nice compressor, the dryer system, but the air line is still, as my wife and I like to say, hillbillied up. I moved it a little bit, not too much, all the way out to my reel. But this part, this is just an airline. I wasn't thinking that there's no swivel at the end here, so that line just keeps turning as you try and tighten this fitting into that fitting there. So unfortunately I didn't want to do it, but I had to put a coupler on there. So, moment of truth. Directions say to open this all the way up and then tighten it down to the pressure you want. So let's go over here and turn this valve on, put air to it, see what happens. Hopefully my thread sealant tape did its job. There it is. Push that down. Well, I can't adjust it. What's up with that? Not sure what happened there. I just went and turned the ball valve off and turned it back on, and now it's doing what it's supposed to do. So we're going to turn this to about 90. Way out there. 60, 70, 80, 90. Almost there. Hit this air real quick. Cool. I think that's a wrap. It's an interesting project. Like usual. Sorry, can't talk. Took me a lot longer than expected. But it was a lot of work. Running the electrical lines, getting all the right parts, doing all the research. There's Thomas.
Hi.
Supervisor coming to check things out. Yeah, turned out well. The thing is, I got to get something going on with that stuff back there. I'm not particularly happy with that. Having a coupler there, but if it works for now, that's what we'll stick with. We just needed to get shop air going because we got projects. Speaking of which, there's a little piece of the next project. These painted pieces behind me. It's not really a secret recipe, but I did find a much cheaper homemade version of rust remover. I can't take credit for it, but when the time comes, we'll let you know where I got it from. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope I can inspire somebody to take on a project of their own. I know electricity can be scary, I guess, because if you don't do it right, it can hurt you. If you talk to the right people, talk to your local permits department, running a simple 3-wire circuit is not that difficult. You can definitely do it on your own with the right research. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more. We'll see you later. Alright, just a little update for you. I know I signed off on the air compressor video, but after firing it up and putting air to the entire system, every single metal connection I had leaked. So I'm here to tell you, don't waste your time with Teflon tape or the liquid pipe sealants. Set up a compressor at my job with liquid pipe sealant. That crap didn't work either. Every single one of the metal joints leaked. So after doing some research and watching some other videos and whatnot, blue Loctite is the way to go. I put just, where is it? Permatex, Loctite, whatever brand you want to use. I use the Permatex thread locker. Worked for me. Just fired it back up. Put air to it, 175 psi is in the line. Of course, after my regulator, I got it set at 90. Every single one of these metal connections, and I set it up like this because I feel like there's a lot less stress on the hose, and it just looks nice, I think. But yep, I had a leak here, there, coming out from under here. Of course, I had these installed wrong. Idiot move on my part. One side's tapered, one side's flat, and I had them installed backwards. But you live and you learn. And I had a leak here and there. Let's go to the other side. I had a leak at this ball valve right here coming out of the tank. I had a leak on the other side of the ball valve into the stainless 90. And I had a leak there and here. And as you can see, there's simple green on there, which I used for the first time for looking for air bubbles. And I got nothing. So if you're going to do a compressor setup, whether it's a big one, little one, if you're using metal connections, blue Loctite's the way to go. Lesson learned. Super excited to put this thing to use. Get to restore my old trailer and whatever else. Deflating tires, got the Chevy truck to work on. That frame is going to need some scaling and painting. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope I inspire someone to do a project like this themselves. Don't be afraid, you can do it. YouTube's a great learning tool. There's a plethora of knowledge out there on the internet. You do have to take some with a grain of salt. And always do your own research. But thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more. Got Mackers.
Cooking bacon.
Cooking some bacon. We're having hot ham and cheese sandwiches tonight. It's going to be delish. See you later.